Welcome to Healers Talk Healing. I'm your host, Nina Ganguly. Join us on this exhilarating journey as we share the wisdom and insights that can truly transform your life. It's time to embark on a voyage towards a happier, healthier you. Because I remember I was like, okay, there's a part of me that shows up, this gregarious, warm, loving human being. But behind that was a lot of anger, a lot of, people pleasing, a lot of, who am I really? And, I was sharing when my father passed away, I actually did not know who I was because my persona was created in the image of who he saw me as. So he saw me as X, so I was X. But I knew that I wasn't X, but I didn't know what else to be or who else to be. And I knew I wanted to be authentically me, but I didn't know who that was. I had
Mm,
no idea. So I guess my question to you as an authenticity coach is, where do you begin to discover who you really are?
yeah, absolutely. I think it starts in building self-awareness,
Mm,
quite honestly. I think it starts with the unpacking of certain belief systems that we have. Why is it that I believe that I need to show up a certain way each day at work?
mm,
Why is it that I believe that I have to I have to lack in certain boundaries in order for people to love me?
mm,
Why is it that I don't trust certain people? You know? Why is it that in my relationship I have a really hard time letting them take care of me,
mm,
right? And it's starting to ask yourself those questions that you start to build awareness of where these thought patterns began. And once we can get to the root of them, which is generally in childhood, if not in childhood, in really, really formative years, usually, or really big, sometimes traumatic experiences in our life, these belief systems are built. And starting there, we can start to unpack why we as adults now show up a certain way. And then from there, it's starting to really tune into, because I believe that healing is on a mind, body, and soul level. You can't
mm.
disconnect any of them. It's one reason why my approach is intuitive, cognitive, and somatic. Um, but it's really tuning into where in your body certain things are coming up for you. Really sitting with yourself, finding moments of solitude to quiet the noise of your friends, of your family, of society. Just really starting to listen to the thoughts that come up when nobody else is around. Because generally, that first thought, not the second or third or fourth, but generally that first thought is really your true self,
Mm.
right? It's not the first because the first could also be an inner critic. It's the second. And I bring that up because I think it's so important. I think part of this process is starting to tune back into your intuition. And this one is particularly important. It's important for everyone, but I love talking about it with women because as women, we are so deeply intuitive, and it comes everyone's intuition speaks differently, but it's coming from our body. But we have been so taught to disconnect ourselves from our body that we've disconnected ourselves from our intuition, which is our internal guidance system. And it is tuning back into that intuition that so many things start to click.
Amen to that. I say truth. You're right. There is a knowing that we have that we question, when you're like, maybe I shouldn't go to this thing or I shouldn't do this. And I'll go anyways. And then you go and it's like, oh no, I should have listened.
Yeah.
Or you step into a business relationship or a personal relationship or a friendship, and something just doesn't sit right. But the conditioning, the good girl, the nice person, you know what I mean? All of the stuff that happens, like culturally in my culture, in the South Asian culture, a lot of it is be a good woman,
Yes. It's the
bend
people
for
who
everybody
be a good
else.
woman. Yes.
It's like everybody else first. So then when your radar comes on and you're like, this doesn't seem cool to me, we put that aside for whatever else needs to happen in the moment. And then that's where the self gets lost, and it happens when we're very, very young. It's you're absolutely right. Forget about anyone that's been, through my history of abuse and manipulation and all of that stuff and grooming, but just in general, this is the way it is in our culture. So this is the way we show up. And I know we're talking about women. Sorry, men. It's two women talking. So what do you think is going to
Men
happen
also need
now?
to be better about tuning into their intuition. We talk about it.
Absolutely. My husband's intuitive ability, which he doesn't even know he has, like he can read people. He doesn't know them from boo, but he'll say, you know what, Nia, I don't think you should do business with this person. Or I don't really like this person has come into your life, but I don't really trust them. And he has no idea why. And for a long time, me being who I am, I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Forget it. I'm not listening to you. And then I started listening after I had enough coaching and guidance, and everyone saying your husband is extremely intuitive. You need to, you don't need to protect yourself from his guidance. I started opening up too and saying, yeah, okay, I agree with you. There's something off about that. And what I learned from my own journey in authenticity, which I'm still on, it's, they always say, right? We always say it's like onion layers just coming off one at a time. But that person that I projected out there in the world, like the gregarious, the warm, the nut, that's part of actually who I am.
Yes.
It is part of my essence. And to not say that I used to walk around feeling like I was two people, the one at home and then the one out in the world. And the one out in the world is constantly lying. Are you okay? Yeah, everything's great. Everything's wonderful. And at home, constantly lying to keep the peace. So then where is that authenticity? Don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review our podcast. Your feedback and support mean the world to us. Remember, healing is a lifelong journey, and you have the power to transform your life in profound ways.